Okay, so this is Mr. PK Hammond once again. Welcome. I welcome you to today's episode. Whilst I try to discuss with you these topics of esotericism and I just hope that we get to grow in pure consciousness together. What I want to discuss with you has the title of The Sacredness of Pure Conscience. The Sacredness of Pure Conscience. What is conscience? What is conscience? Conscience is that inner voice within each one of us that guides our thoughts, feelings, and even our actions towards what we perceive to be right and wrong. It is that divine spark that resides within us all, ever present, always guiding towards the path of righteousness. Conscience, it is the voice of God within us, whispering words of wisdom and love. As the ancient scriptures tell us, the lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is not sound, your whole body will be full of darkness. Now, this light is a light of pure conscience, the light that shines from within and illuminates the path of our journey. But the question is, how do we access this light? How do we connect with our pure conscience and let it guide us towards the truth? The answer lies in the wisdom of the ages, in the teachings of the great sages and mystics of our time. As the Tao Te Ching tells us, the sage has no mind of his own. He is aware of the needs of others. You see, in other words, the key to unlocking the power of our pure conscience is to surrender our ego and let go of our attachment. We must become like the sage who has no mind of his own and is aware of the needs of others. Only then can we access the power of pure conscience and let it guide us towards the path of righteousness and purity. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. And he is in the transcendental position in life, although engaged in all sorts of activities. In other words, we must become aware of the illusions of our actions and inactions and see beyond the veil of Maya. We must recognize that our pure conscience is always guiding us, even when we are engaged in these mundane activities. My brothers, it is up to us to listen to its voice and follow its guidance. The Bible teaches us that blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. In other words, only those who have purified their hearts and connected with their pure conscience can truly understand the nature of God. You see, it is not through the power of pure conscience that we can access the divine within us and experience the oneness of all things. It is. Not only that, as a great philosopher Plato said, the soul, like the body, can be perfectly healthy and beautiful only when it is virtuous. In other words, the key to accessing the power of pure conscience lies in cultivating virtue and moral excellence. It means we must strive to live a life of integrity, compassion, and love, and let our pure conscience guide us towards the path of righteousness. For it is only through the power of pure conscience that we can transcend the limitations of the ego and connect with the divine. As the Zen master Dogen said, to study Buddhism is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be enlightened by all things. In other words, by letting go of our ego and connecting with our pure conscience, we can experience the oneness of all things and find enlightenment. Our eyes can be open and will be. But you see, this path is not easy. It requires courage, dedication, and discipline. As the great spiritual teacher Paramahansa once said, the spiritual journey is not for the faint-hearted. It requires a strong will and a steady mind. We must be willing to confront our fears, our doubts, and our limitations. We must be willing to let go of our attachment and surrender to the divine. But the reward of this journey are immeasurable, I tell you, my people. For as a great mystic Eckhart said, the eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me. In other words, by connecting with our pure conscience, we can experience the divine within us and become one with God. As we journey along the path of life, we often encounter challenges and obstacles that test our faith and our resolve. But it is during this moment, I tell you, it is during this moment of darkness that we must remember the power of pure conscience. Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. In other words, by cultivating the habit of connecting with our pure conscience, we can access its power and let it guide us towards excellence and righteousness. But this habit requires practice and dedication. We must be willing to make the effort to connect with our pure conscience every day, to listen to its voice and to follow its guidance. As a great spiritual teacher, Chimoy said, the beauty of the inner world can only be seen through our inner eyes, and the inner eyes are opened through constant meditation. Stay blessed. Stay blessed. You need to stay blessed. You see, the reason I'm saying you need to stay blessed is that as a people, we need to make the effort to connect with our pure conscience on daily basis through the practice of meditation and contemplation. We need to cultivate the habit of listening to its voice and following its guidance. And we need to remember the words of the great mystic Julian of Norwich, who said, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." For when we connect with our pure conscience and let it guide us, we can experience the peace, the love, and the joy that are the hallmarks of life well lived. Wheresoever you go, go with all your heart. And when we go with all our heart, guided by the power of pure conscience, we can create a life of excellence, beauty, and pure wisdom. Trust me. As we continue on the path of self-discovery and spiritual growth, we must remember that the sacredness of pure conscience is not limited to any particular religion or spiritual tradition. There are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. There are 1,000 ways to go home. In simple words, the path to connecting with our pure conscience and experiencing the divine can take many different forms, whether it is through meditation, prayer, contemplation, or simply living a virtuous life. The important thing is that we make the effort to cultivate this connection and let it guide us towards the truth. You see, all life is to yoga. In other words, every moment of our lives can be an opportunity to connect with our pure conscience and experience the divine, whether we are at work, at home, or even in the midst of a difficult situation. We can always make the effort to cultivate the connection and let it guide us toward the path of righteousness and enlightenment. But this path is not without a challenge, as the great Buddha said. The lotus flower blooms most beautifully from the deepest and thickest mud. You see, it is often in the midst of our greatest challenges and difficulties that we can find the strength and courage to connect with our pure conscience and let it guide us towards the truth. Maybe you all take that first step towards connecting with our pure conscience and experience the oneness of all things. May we all embrace the sacredness of this connection and let us light guide us towards the truth. Thank you.